Welcome back to the Food Forest, everybody. Today we actually have some really exciting news. Greg Wittstock, the pond guy, has found out about our YouTube channel and our pond. And for anyone who doesn't know, he is the owner of Aquascape, which is a company that makes ecosystem ponds. And his YouTube channel travels around the world looking at the world's most beautiful ponds created by the world's most talented pond designers. Ours was created by Joe Genovese, who's a local aquascape contractor and was the 2015 Pond Builder of the Year. I'll leave his details in the video description, but Greg's actually going to come here and do a video on our food forest and pond system.
Yay! So we're super excited that Greg Wittstock is coming here. Even myself, I'm super pumped for this. Keith and I, when we were deciding to do our pond, we actually binged the pond guy videos. So we'll put that down in the comment section as well with his link to his YouTube station. But we're super excited. It's almost like you kind of already know the guy because we've been through all of his videos, so can't wait to meet him, and it'll be a super exciting day.
So today's video, we're actually going to kind of tidy up around the pond, give some nice fresh mulch, and open up and widen some of the paths because I kind of let them go a little wild, you know, by design, because that's what works really good in nature. But I think it'll show better on his channel if it's maybe landscaped a little more traditionally. So we'll kind of tidy some stuff up. I'll do some before and after shots in this video, and then I'm going to end the video with a small little kind of chat and interview with Greg. I hope he sits down with us for a little bit. I know he's a busy guy, and maybe get him to tell his story about why he got into aquascape, making ecosystem ponds that are beneficial for nature. Because I think it's kind of a thing where, you know, he might not necessarily call himself a permaculturist, but he's kind of doing the same thing. So let's get going. We'll start tidying up the pond, and then make sure that you check out his channel for his video on our property, because I think that'll be pretty cool to see. Thanks for watching, and let's get to it.
Okay, look at it. What do I look like?
So here's the pond. We're gonna do a little cleanup on the path here so we can walk in. We've got some oregano coming over. It's full of flowers though, so the bees are liking it. So I'm gonna try to leave a lot of that if I can, but we do want to be able to get in there. And then I am gonna leave this peninsula of flowers mostly alone because it's so beneficial to nature. We might clean up the edges here a little bit. The branch that had fallen over into the water there, I've been using it as, you know, more shelter for the fish and some sunlight blocking. We'll probably clean up a little bit of the stuff inside the pond, a little bit of the algae. The algae on the rocks is actually really beneficial, so I'm not going to scrub the rocks off or anything like that. But we've got some floating algae in the wetland filter over there, which I'll tidy up a little bit. So here's the top waterfall before. You can see that I started cleaning up a lot of these top areas here, just so you could see the waterfalls a little clearer. But we'll tidy that up a little more. Probably cut this bush back a little bit. It's getting a little wild and crazy. So this is the waterfall before. Okay, and here's the rest of the pond from above.
this area here at the side of the house. Okay, so welcome back to the present. Here's the pond area now. It's a little different. This area's changed just a bit.
So we just walked around the pond. Like, what do you think? What do you think?
Well, the first thing my thought was, you know, I watched the construction videos, but I haven't seen it since it's been fully developed. So for me, that was, you know, it's a jungle now. You know, it usually takes 3 years to get everything kind of looking really good. You're in year 4, so it's looking just amazing. And you know, it's a unique look. I appreciate the look. You know, some people want more manicured, but I think what you were going for, you have achieved in spades. Yeah. So fantastic, good job, and it's only going to get nicer from here.
Yeah, absolutely. So what made you actually start aquascape? Like, well, how did you get into it? I know you love turtles, right?
Turtles. Yeah, so in 1982, I'm a little older than you guys, much older than your wife. And in 1982, I was living in New Jersey, catching turtles, fish, and frogs. Had a very Huckleberry Finn type of a life.
Okay.
Out there, southern Jersey in the New Jersey Pine Barrens. And one day, my dad came and said we were moving to the flat, barren cornfields of Wheaton, Illinois. But they promised me I could bring my pet turtles with me and build a pond for them in the backyard. We lived on a lake. And so the second day I brought 11 pet turtles in a drawer from the refrigerator, had them sloshing around in water. And the second day I was living in Wheaton, I went in the backyard and started digging a hole for a pond. I was a 12-year-old kid, went to the library, because this is before YouTube, you know, and the internet, and all of the books said to make it strong, to make it out of concrete. So I ended up getting rebar rods from construction sites, got some concrete and a mixer with my dad. You know, my dad and I was on a hobby together. He helped me every step of the way. And we ended up putting in that pond in 1982. And then that winter, that concrete heaved up out of the ground and cracked. The next season, the pond started turning green, and my turtles began migrating away. Right. But instead of being undaunted, every single year I ripped out and rebuilt my backyard. It became my classroom, and modified it using cattle troughs and garbage cans that I made into skimmers. And eventually it started looking pretty nice after 7 years. I was in college. The UPS guy one day was ringing the doorbell. I heard the doorbell ring. I said, come around back. And I will never forget it. He turned the corner with the packages, and he goes, this is beautiful. How did you ever buy a house with a natural spring on it? And I guarantee you, people come here for the first time and they think this will keep rolling down the hill. They don't realize it recirculates, right? He thought it was a natural spring. And I'm like, no, man, I built it. And he stopped and he said, can you build me one? And I go, sure, yeah, I could. And I remember that was my impetus for starting my business. I told my mom and my dad the next year after my junior year at Ohio State, where I was going to college, I said, I want to start building ponds for people. And I said, all I need is a strong bat, a wheelbarrow, and a shovel. And I already had a strong bat from playing football. And that Christmas, my mom and dad got me a wheelbarrow and a shovel. And in 1991, 32 years ago, Aquascape was born, just building ponds as a summertime gig. Wow. I built 5 ponds my first season, $21,000 in sales in 3 months. Not bad for a college kid back then. Bought a pickup truck, came back early from college in the spring and took the spring and summer to build ponds. My second year I had done 12 my second, so I had done 17 total water features for the first 2 years. And then on August 2nd of 1992, my life changed because the Chicago Tribune newspaper, these are things that people used to read with pictures in them. I'm sure
okay, I've heard of those things.
Ran a front page story on Golden Pond, young landscape artist Greg Wittstock builds backyard habitats for fish and plants, and I had hundreds of people calling me for ponds, and all of a sudden my summertime gig that was just fun for me became my career, and I've been doing it, you know, full time ever since.
You needed to start hiring people to actually deal with the volume that you were getting.
So I had my first season, I had a couple guys from the football team that would just be day laborers and help me out. My second season, I had a full-time foreman, another guy that I went to high school, and then after that article hit, my dad came involved in the business, and we worked together for a couple of years. But we had different philosophies, and you know, I don't know if you've ever heard of family businesses struggling. My dad ended up going off and doing things a little differently on his own way, and eventually he came back, and now we work together again. And he has a pond construction business down in Florida called Pond Father Water Features.
Okay, cool.
He's 78 years old, and he's still putting these in people's yards.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I still build ponds. I was just building a pond for Laura from Garden Answer last week.
Hey guys, how's it going? So between this afternoon and tomorrow morning, we're hoping to get a couple of evergreens in the ground and the whole area mulched. You know, every time I walk out here, the water looks clearer and clearer. You can start to see down there to the bottom, and this part right here will start looking like how it kind of looks right up here.
I'll work, you know, 90% of the project or 10% depending on how many people that we have there. But pretty much right now I spend most of my time visiting and vlogging for, you know, cool customers and cool projects all over the world with my best certified Aquascape contractors. And then I work with a lot of influencers. So Shaquille O'Neal, I was just building him his second water feature. Second.
He watched the video for the first one.
Yeah, unfortunately, the guy that manages his property wanted us originally to put a pond in a low area of the yard. And I said, no, I don't want to do it there. You shouldn't do it there. It's going to always have constant runoff issues, and it's going to, the hydrostatic pressure is going to bubble up the liner. So we ended up getting a local landscaper to do it, and it was a disaster. And so we came and fixed the second pond that another landscaper could put in, and we did it correctly with an underground system, underliner drainage system for the hydrostatic pressure, and now it's a beautiful ecosystem recreation pond that he has. So he's got his decorative pond up in the front for koi, and then he's got a recreation pond that was what originally they wanted me to build, but I told them not to do it there. They did it there, and then we fixed the problems in the landscape and did it right.
Yeah, that's funny because like in the permaculture space, the best place for a pond is actually at the highest point of your property.
Interesting,
Because
yeah.
then you've got the hydraulic pressure
use
to
it.
actually automatically water stuff.
Yes.
And then you want to get somewhere where the catchment area feeds into it enough that you're going to get refilling. But you don't want to put it in the bottom because it's just going to flood out and you're going to break through dam walls and you're just going to destroy it. A lot of people ask me about my pond, is it natural?
Yes.
And
which is a great
you know,
compliment
that's
to a
probably
builder and a homesteader.
Yeah, it's the greatest compliment because when I was looking at ponds, I was looking at David Pagan Butler ecosystem swim pools. But the thing that I don't like about those personally, you know, nothing against him, he does amazing work. But what I don't like about it is that they look like a swimming pool, and they actually look like a dirty swimming pool. And I know a lot of people who put them in, they turn into just like a giant algae mess. Whereas the aquascape ponds, what I loved about this when I called around other pond builders to build something like this, you know, I was talking to Joe, who's the designer who did this, and the moment I called him, he was talking about working with nature and, you know, using permaculture terms, and I was thinking, this guy is a permaculturist, and he doesn't know
He's been
he's a
trained in the
permaculturist.
aquascape ecosystem mentality,
Which is the same
work
thing.
with Mother Nature, not against her. And the paradigm shift that aquascape brought to the industry, that came from my outside the industry upbringing, was I was trying to. Everybody was trying to manufacture equipment to filter dirty water. I was trying to create equipment that built beautiful ponds and happened to get clear water.
Right.
So it was a paradigm shift. They were trying to filter dirty water. I was trying to build beautiful water features.
Right.
And so the first time that I ever took my wife to an industry event, we had just gotten married. It was 1997. We went to the International Water Lily and Water Garden Symposium out in Denver, Colorado at the Denver Botanical Gardens. And she had never seen, she had the paradigm of aquascape. And she went to vendor to vendor to vendor and said, I don't understand your products. You see them. They're external filters, and there are a lot of complicated widgets and stuff on it. Where, of course, a wetland filter is about as simple as you could possibly be. You just want to be able to spread the water and distribute out on the bottom, make sure you have the right gradients and level, and then just let it flow. It's like a giant horsepower engine on a muscle car or something. And everybody else had very intricate designs on their filters, but of course an intricate design for a builder like myself means when a leaf falls in it, it's going to screw it up. So I want to keep things bulletproof, keep it simple, stupid, work with Mother Nature, not against her. And so this is the philosophy that all of the aquascape certified contractors have kind of bought into and accept. And it's different than the traditional purists, like a koi pond, that tries to remove all the nutrients. Instead of using to fertilize the plants, instead of use it as a place for bacteria to grow, they use bare bottom ponds and then try to suck out the nutrients, but we want to actually use it for part of the ecosystem.
Well, also, parts of the pond have actually the stumps from old trees from the back of our property, which is kind of neat. So it looks like they were always there. And we've actually had friends ask us, like, do you guys, like, were those stumps already there?
Yeah. Which is a great, another ultimate compliment.
Yeah,
we love to harvest
water,
stuff. We love to harvest stuff on the property.
Yeah.
And reuse it.
Yeah, when I was digging these out, I was hauling them out of the backwoods, and Colin was the guy who was working with Joe, and he says, you're getting Joe a bunch of Christmas presents.
Yes.
He says, this is going to make Joe so happy.
Yes,
So,
yes. I remember Colin. He became a police officer.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that's what happened. He was there. I think he was with Joey for 10 or 12 years. But, this is a labor of love. So for me, this is my hobby that I was able to turn into my profession. And so the joy for me is to be able to go and see how people are living the aquascape lifestyle.
Well, Keith is a wild gardener. My family actually comments on that all the time. They're very, straight line gardeners.
Yeah, sure.
And Keith will, plant tomatoes all over the pond, and we have no idea where they are.
I know where they are.
We walk around, and we're like, oh, there's some more tomatoes.
Sure.
There's some more tomatoes.
Well, it works.
True,
and
that
it works.
Oh, there's a zucchini.
Yeah.
So I want to be a caveman that forages off my land, and I want to create the ecosystem that I forage in.
I like an organized wild, so I'm constantly telling Keith, we need to go out there and trim the wild.
Well,
we need to trim it.
Well, he somehow figured out how to keep you for 19 years.
Yeah,
so.
there we go. Yeah, doing something right. So if you want to put in some kind of water feature into your land, you can do it with a shovel and strong back. And
we all start somewhere.
Yeah, we all start somewhere, and I have microponds that I put in, myself, and they're doing fantastic. But if you really want to do something next level, if you're going to use a company that does this kind of thing, you want to use a company that speaks the permaculture language, working with nature, and there's no better company, in my personal opinion, then obfuscate. So thanks for visiting us.
Keith,
It's
thank
been a
you.
pleasure.
Tish, really,
you.
thanks for coming back from vacation to do this. I love my job.